Now let's see how we can properly handle invalid inputs. So over here, if the user enters an invalid value, our stream is going to go in the failed state. And we can detect that by calling cin.fail. So if this returns true, then we're going to print an error message and say, enter a valid number. Now, we don't want to do this once and then move on to capture the second value. Instead, we want to do this as long as the user enters an invalid value. So we can put this in an infinite loop. And if the user enters a valid value, then we can break out of that loop. Okay. So let's create an infinite loop and then put everything inside this loop. Only for the first number. Okay. We can repeat the same pattern for the second number. All right. So here's our loop. If the stream fails, we're going to print a message. Otherwise, we're going to break out of the loop. Okay. Now, if the stream fails, our buffer is still going to be full. So let's imagine that the user entered A and 20. If the stream fails, this data is still going to be in the buffer. So in the next iteration of the loop, our program is not going to pause to capture the next value. Again, it's going to read the same value from the buffer. So it's going to fail again. So we'll continuously see this message without giving the user a chance to enter a new value. So to fix this, first we need to call cin.clear to clear the failed state and say, hey, the stream is now in a good state. Then we need to remove everything that is in the buffer just like before. So we're going to move this line up here. Okay. So if the stream fails, we print an error message, we put the stream in a good state and clear the buffer. Otherwise, we break out of this loop. Now take a look. Okay, we get a compilation error because after this restructuring, we moved the declaration of the first variable inside the while loop. So now it's not accessible outside of this loop, and that is why we cannot print it here. So we need to move the variable declaration outside of the while loop. Okay, now let's run the program. So if we enter A, we get the error message. If we enter another invalid value, see, we continuously get an error message. Beautiful. Now, what if we enter a valid value? Good. Then we move on to capture the second value. Okay. So this is the pattern we should follow to handle input errors. Now, we don't want to repeat this pattern over and over because it's going to make our code long and hard to maintain. So here's your exercise for this lesson. I want you to extract this piece of logic or this pattern into a reusable function. So then we can use that function to read both these numbers. Now let me give you a hint before you get started. If you want to repeat this pattern to capture the second number, the message we show to the user is going to be different. So to make this function reusable, you should give it a parameter of type string, and that is the message we want to show to the user. So spend a few minutes on this, then come back see my solution. All right, so I'm going to define a new function that returns an integer. I'm going to call this getNumber and give it a parameter of type string called prompt. Now let's move this while loop inside our new function. Okay, now we don't have the first variable, so we can declare it right here. But it doesn't make sense to call this first because we are not dealing with two separate variables or two separate numbers. So a better name for this variable is just number. Okay. Now, instead of printing this message, we're going to print the argument that is passed here. Good. Now we can also make this a constant string reference because we're not going to change it. The rest is exactly as before. So if the user enters an invalid number, we give them another chance. Otherwise, if they enter a valid number, we break out of this while loop and return that valid number. Now we can reuse this function in two places in our main function. So here we're declaring first, we can set it to the return value of getNumber, and our prompt is going to be first. Now let's repeat this to get the second number. And finally, we can print this final message. Okay, so see, our main function is a lot shorter than before. We are not repeating this pattern over and over. This is the benefit of creating reusable functions. Now let's test our implementation. So I'm going to enter A, B, C. Okay, good. Now let's enter a valid number. Now let's repeat with the second number. So again, some invalid characters. But if I enter 20, where's that? 20, we get 10 and 20. Beautiful. Now we can take this function to the next level by giving it 2 extra parameters like min and max. And with this, we can ensure that the value that the user enters falls within that range. And if not, just like here, we're going to continuously show the user an error message. I leave it to you as an additional exercise.